Hi and welcome. You know, this time of the year can be such a challenge for all of us in the automotive industry. It's following the holiday season. It's getting back in the groove of it all again. And if you did go away and you took some holidays, good for you. That's wonderful. Hopefully you recharge your batteries. And now we're getting back to it. And the reality is it's following not only the holiday season, but the Christmas giving season. And this is where, in moments, if you haven't already received it, your credit card statement starts to come in. And really, what I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about your customers. Their credit card statement starts arriving. And we talk about the 18th of this month, which is tomorrow. The 18th of this month being one of the worst days of the year because this is when the credit card companies start printing their statements. I don't know why it's around the 18th of the month, but have been told that on quite a regular basis, and maybe this is the case and you find that happens to you too. Well, what I want to share with you is what so many teachers, trainers, authors, and speakers in the automotive industry don't talk about this time of the year. Yeah, they talk about how to close more and how to negotiate more, and we do the very same thing. I am not going to shun them or poo-poo them or beat them up for doing so because I do too. That's 2 steps of the manifesto in the second phase, being the closing apparition and mastering negotiation. But what we don't think about as teachers, trainers, speakers, authors, managers, owners, when we're coordinating the training for you, and maybe this is what you're thinking of, and the reason why we're here right now, is that without leads, without customers in front of me, without somebody walking in the showroom, without somebody calling us on the phone, without someone emailing us, that doesn't really happen, the closing and the negotiation. Even your presentation skills don't get to go to work. And so this time of the year, we can get a little bit rusty as salespeople. We can fall off the activities that are necessary to be able to put those deals together. And this is the reason why I want to do this particular program today. And in fact, I really believe this is the theme that we need to follow all the way through the first quarter of this year, 2024. Because in order to make 2024 one of the very best years of your career, it's going to require some effort on your behalf to harvest prospects, not necessarily sit and wait for the up bus to stop by our dealership and drop off a load of hungry, anxious shoppers. As I've spoken about so eloquently before, that doesn't really happen. It did at one point. I know of one dealer who actually did it, but that's going back a number of years. My name is Bill Harvey with the Auto Sales Academy, and this is the private members group that you are a member of, and thank you so much for joining me and taking the time out of your day to do so. This will be fast, this will be down and quick, tactic driven only. The skills that you need in order for you to be able to achieve 10, 20, 30 sales per month with predictable consistency. And I am so certain of our system. I've proven it in so many other entities. You know my story from going way back to when I graduated from university. And I was so happy to get that opportunity to be able to sell automobiles and fell flat on my nose in that cold February month, the doldrums of the shortest day of the year. There's so much darkness and it's so cold because I'm in the northern hemisphere. I'm in the northern 48, and our neighbors up in Canada, I know the exact same scenario is going to be for them right now. This isn't the most exciting time of the year for shoppers to come out and buy. And that's the reason why the advertising tap gets turned off. And so what happens is there are 2 types of prospects that you're going to get. The first prospect is the easy one, the hot leads. The hot leads are those that are calling you up, those that are emailing in inquiries for quotations and best price and availability and can you tell me more about. And then there's the customer that walks right in the showroom. And these shoppers that are hot leads right now, very intentional about purchasing, are also driven by 3 motivating factors. Number 1, desire. Maybe the advertisement really caught their attention and they like the look of your product and they think to themselves, well, you know, I've had mine now for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 16 years. Average age of a vehicle in North America, 16 years of age. And they're thinking it's time for a change. That is the reason why they come in. Or maybe they're fearful that the product that they would like to have, hearing about the inventory shortage that we have been through, and maybe their neighbor, cousin, uncle, aunt, brother, sister, mother, father has suggested if you're looking for an automobile, and you really want to get a particular model and trim level with the features that really make that fantastic, you better get in right now because selection is still limited. So they could be fearful that they're not going to get the vehicle that they want. Or maybe they're experiencing some pain, right? The pain of their automobile not starting when we have that cold weather temperature. We got the cold weather in my region, the cold weather moving in this week. Like we're talking about minus 20 tomorrow. So that's what the northern hemisphere of the US and Canada is facing very shortly. We're getting that Arctic airflow mass coming down from Canada. And this could, for some automobiles, not to start very reliably. So those individuals that are coming in right now are kind of thinking, dang, do I try to limp my vehicle through into the spring, into the quarters of 2 and 3 in the year? We're talking about the second quarter being April through June and the third quarter being July through September. Do I wait until the springtime? Do I drive my automobile through the sand and the salt and the winter months? Not to mention, gosh, everything that we spend at Christmas time, and we do have a holiday planned coming up in the wintertime. Do I wait? This is the fear. Not to mention, oh my gosh, I've heard about the interest rates. Oh my gosh, I've heard about inflation. Oh my gosh, I've heard about the price of automobiles going up. This is the fear that they may have coming in. But they're also being driven by the pain of, gosh, my car isn't doing something. Or maybe they've been in the service department and they know full well it is now time to move on to the next newer vehicle or spend a lot of good money on bad money because their vehicle is wearing out. Those are the intentional shoppers. That is but one prospect that you have. On the other side of the equation, you have another group of prospects that are absolutely fantastic. And that next group of prospects are unintentional shoppers. And this is how you can sell 10, 20, or 30 vehicles in the slowest time of the year when people are the most worried about spending money, because this is the second greatest financial decision that we make next to buying a house. And for some, this is the greatest financial decision if they have not purchased a house now. And based on housing prices wherever you live, like it is where I live, some people are going to have to put off buying a house for a very long period of time because of the rise of inflation, the interest rates, and the payments that go along with that. So the customer that we're talking about that is unintentional, and this is how you sell 10, 20, or 30 vehicles per month, is driving around in their automobile that isn't creating any pain. They're driving around in their automobile that they aren't necessarily fully aware of what the next newest, latest, and greatest is going to be, and therefore they're just not motivated in order to purchase that at this point. But they are motivated by desire that, yeah, a new one would be nice, and they know full well they may not even know what the changes have taken place on their particular vehicle, especially if it isn't a full body change, if it's just a facade of the front and rear fascias, or maybe it's the interior. So the point is that we want to go after these customers and bring them to us as much as we possibly can, because this is what harvesting is all about. We're reaching out to customers that have not been influenced by advertising. Isn't that interesting? They haven't been influenced by advertising. And yes, I hope you say to yourself, that's interesting. Never thought of it in that capacity. But why, Bill? Why would not being influenced by advertising be a good thing for me? Because the customers that we talked about seconds ago, those hot leads that are walking in the showroom, influenced by advertising, are the toughest ones to close because they're influenced by advertising. In order for our advertisements to make it desirable enough for somebody to want to come in and purchase, well, we've got to price it at such a point that our competitors are shaking, that they can't believe that we would possibly discount it or lower the price or be able to sell it for that price. That's the problem with advertising. And it's the old adage, the things that make you great create your demise. Advertising is magnificent and wonderful for generating leads, but those leads are fickle and come in wanting our very best deal. And they're just responding to the advertisement which promotes our very best deal. So when we really want to move a whole bunch of product, then yes, advertising is really quite helpful. And there will be times during the year in Q2, Q3, and even the latter portion of the fourth quarter of the year, we're talking about from October to December, where we will want to turn on the advertising machine, where we will want to unwind the tap to full flow, to fill our pipelines so that you can sell more. The disadvantage of that is that we bring in that customer who looks at our advertisement, which is already a great deal, and says to you and I, we know this full well, okay, that's what the manufacturer is doing, or that's what the dealer is doing, but what will you do for me right now? So when we look at the other side of the equation and we have a look at prospects that we could harvest, those prospects I'm talking about that respond to advertising are hot leads, unquestionably. They're red hot. So I'm not suggesting for a second you switch your focus and you only work on these unintentionals. You must look after those showroom leads, those phone in and email leads. However, when you start harvesting your prospects, when you go through your prospect list, and this is about communication, this is about filling your pipeline, which is your hot list on a daily basis of 10, 20, 30, 50 leads per day. You're going to have leads that are super hot that you must respond to on an hourly basis, and then you're going to have leads that are not so hot that you can respond to on a weekly basis, and then you're going to have what I would say is long-term follow-up. You respond to them on a monthly basis, and you keep that monthly cadence going. However, with prospect harvesting, this is how you fill your roster of 10, 20, and 50 leads per day to be able to work, because the showroom doors aren't swinging, the phone ain't ringing, and the email dinger, the chime is not dinging. When that happens, when the showroom doors aren't swinging and the phone's not ringing and the chime isn't dinging, you need to fill your pipeline with prospects. Those other entities of hot leads aren't happening because the advertising machine gets turned off, because the manufacturers this time of the year, as well as our retailers, our dealers, your boss recognizes that it doesn't matter what price we put out there. People are recovering from year-end, holiday season, and Christmas. When you start harvesting prospects, if you've been in the business for 3 days and have sold one vehicle, you can do this. If you've been in the business for 3 weeks and you've sold 3 vehicles, you can do this. If you've been in the business for 3 months, 6 months, 10 years, you can do this. The longer you've been in the business, the better off it is for you. And we don't think of this in this capacity because automotive speakers, trainers, and authors don't tell us. And this is the reason why I built this program, the manifesto, our system of 3 phases and 9 steps to assure and guarantee that you will sell 10, 20, and 30 vehicles per month with predictable consistency. And that will put you on track to earn a 6-figure income. And that's the reason why I don't preface any of our training with make a 6-figure income. Follow my system, make a 6-figure income. You and I both know if you sell 15, 20, 25, 30, 50 vehicles per month, you are going to be making a 6-figure income. What I do share with you is to break into the 10s, and then to 15, and then to 20, and then to 30. That will put you on track to make a 6-figure income. So let's focus on these unintentional shoppers. These unintentional shoppers are right under your nose. Whether you've been in the business for 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, or 30 years, you can do this. If your pipeline is not as full as you want it to be. Remember, a pipeline flows into your sales funnel. Your sales funnel are the activities that lead to the sale. So that could be walking into the showroom, that could be calling you on the phone to learn more about your pitch, your proposal, your suggestion, why someone who is not necessarily looking, you're stimulating all the desire. You're helping them overcome the fear. You're creating the pain. They're driving around in their used vehicle, right? Be it 6 months old all the way to 16 years old, it's still used. And there is a better option over here. Newer, shiny, latest and greatest technology, better fuel economy, faster, more towing ability, all protected by a manufacturer's warranty. Or it's protected by an aftermarket warranty if you're selling pre-owned. The point is, we're going after these customers and creating the desire, overcoming the fear by anticipating what the conversation will be like and identifying some pain that they may not even know that they could have. So if you've been in the business for 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, or even 30 years, you look at the buyers that you currently have sold. So if you've been in the business for 3 days, let's assume you've sold one vehicle. You have one customer that has no intention of buying another vehicle again for the next 6 months, 1 year, 4 years, 5 years, 16 years. But is it outlandish? Is it ridiculous? Will you debate with me and argue with me? Go ahead and drop a comment below. I'm happy to have that conversation with you. Will you argue and debate with me that individual doesn't have a second vehicle in their driveway that they could upgrade? That individual does not have a neighbor who drives an automobile, a coworker who drives an automobile, a mother, a father, a sister, a brother, a sister-in-law, a brother-in-law that drives an automobile? Will you debate with me and argue with me that individual that you have sold has someone that they know that is driving around in an automobile that is older, that they should upgrade to newer, of latest and greatest, shiny, faster, better technology, better fuel economy, protected by a warranty? I don't think anybody's going to argue with me on that, but feel free to go and drop a comment. Happy to have a conversation with you. I will put a link to a discovery call with me, and you can call me up and say, Bill, that doesn't happen in my region. I want to hear all about it, because to my knowledge, and the 30 years that I've been in the business, from salesperson like you, seeing this time of the year and going, oh, how am I going to make ends meet? I can't just wait for the spring market to get here, and it's not going to get here easily. We've got to go through the 11 selling days of this month before we get into the 21 days of selling for February, before we get into the 24 days of selling for March, before we get into that spring market. Now, it may happen a little earlier for you, depending on the region and where you are in the metro location, and the weather is better. But for those of us in the northern hemisphere where it's cold, it's not really fun to be wandering around the lot when it's blowing and there's snow between the cars. We can't wait. The bank won't tolerate us saying, wait, I'll have the money shortly to pay my mortgage, to go on that vacation, to buy birthday gifts and Valentine's gifts and all the rest of it. So we need to generate that for ourselves, and we are capable of doing so, because if you've been in the business for 3 days, 3 weeks, or 3 months, or 30 years, every one of your customers has somebody that they know is probably driving around in an automobile that they should replace. And it requires you reaching out and asking them and telling them about that. And all you simply have to do is, and we spell it out very eloquently in prospect harvesting step number 4 in the second phase of the manifesto, as well as leveraging the apps and technology in order for you to be able to do this while you're in your sleep. In order for you to be able to stimulate the interest and the excitement of going to that next new vehicle while you're working with customers on the showroom floor that you've already brought in. Or maybe now they're walking in all on their own. Maybe the advertising tap gets turned on and the up bus stops by and they drop off a hungry load of shoppers. I'm not sure. The point that I want to make is that when we create a plan to go after these unintentional buyers, all of a sudden it's easy to sell 10, 20, 30, and 40 vehicles per month with predictable consistency. I really hope you get that and hear that. The thing that makes us different than every other training organization out there is the skills that we teach you generate predictable consistency. I'm not going to teach you how to sell 30 cars in 1 month and leave it at that. Because you will. You'll hit 30 cars and I go, see, did it. But don't you want to do it every single month? Don't you want to make it easy for yourself? Don't you just want that pipeline delivering a load of hungry, anxious buyers? I certainly know I did and do. All the way through, from being a salesperson to managing the floor to being a dealer principal for Chrysler. That is what I wanted all the way along. Just predictable consistency. Eliminate these peaks and valleys on the graph and more create humps and bumps. That makes life a whole lot easier. That's how you can decide to buy a house. That's how you decide to go away on a swanky vacation. That's how you decide to buy a cottage or a toy, a motorcycle, a snowmobile, an ATV, a UTV, a dirt bike, whatever the case is. The point that I want to make is that when we look at every single customer that we have, and we say, okay, let's profile that customer, because not all the customers that you've sold, especially if you've been in the business for more than 6 months, not all those customers are going to be your favorites. Not all of them are going to become an advocate for you. And the advocates are the ones that we need, the ones that will reach out to someone and say, hey, look, you really should think about getting a newer automobile. And my guy or gal is the person that you should speak to. So when we chase down this unintentional shopper, that one unintentional shopper branches out. So we get the repeat, we get the second vehicle in their driveway. That's an opportunity. right? When the showroom doors aren't swinging, the phone's not ringing, the email is not dinging, we've got one opportunity, the second vehicle in their driveway. The second opportunity within this one customer, right? If you sold cars for 3 days and you've only sold one vehicle, you've got 2 customers that you can work because you asked them for a referral. Hey, look, if you don't have a second vehicle in your driveway to replace, then who do you know? The neighbor beside you, left and right of you. You always have a neighbor left and right. Unless you live in the boonies in the Yukon or Alaska, there's always going to be someone left and right, above or below, front or back. It's simple. Know the answer to your question before you ask it. Who lives around you? This was an epiphany for me when I really got this and then started to think about it and drew it out on paper and really mapped it. I should be drawing this out on the board for you right now. I just thought I'm standing too far away from the board and I hate turning my back to you all the time. And of course, the sound isn't nearly as good, but I will map this out. We'll do a session and maybe I'll put the camera over top and it makes a whole lot more sense to do it that way so that you can really see how the mind map, your mind, thinking of every other direction that you can go, can really work on this. The second vehicle in the driveway, a neighbor, a coworker, a family member. Well, the family member, hang on to that one. Family member, let's hang on to that one. A coworker, a colleague, an associate from an interest group that they belong to. So these aren't necessarily their top level network, right? This would be second level network for them. So for instance, for you, it would be the colleagues around you. If I were selling training and I said to you, hey, look, we've got an affiliate program. You will earn a commission before selling my program. Just introduce someone to it and tell them to book a 15-minute call with me. Hey, do that anyway. I'm not using that as an excuse. I'm using this as a real live scenario. Tell them to give me a ring. The second part of the equation now is those people, those neighbors, colleagues, previous co-workers, associates that could be of the church denomination that they belong to or an interest group that they belong to. For me, I race and ride mountain bikes and dirt bikes, and I love boats and fishing and hunting. And so I have friendship groups in each one of those interests that if you ask me for a referral, I could certainly reach out to a wide scope of people to provide you with referrals. But that doesn't end there. If you've sold cars for 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, or 30 years, you can do this with every single customer. And this is how you fill a pipeline. So we're talking about the second vehicle in the driveway. We've covered off referrals. Now let's talk about networking. And the networking that you can do, most speaker trainers, authors talk about your network. Who can you go to? Friends, family, relatives. And that's great. Well, we can leverage these same tactics with those individuals. And of course, this becomes your entire prospecting strategy. Remember what a strategy is. When someone says, I've got a great strategy for you to close more deals. You say, okay, what is it? They go, when they say, I want to think about it, do this. That's not a strategy. That's a tactic for the objection I want to think about. So here's the thing. With this prospect harvesting strategy, you have your customer that you're going to ask for the second vehicle in their driveway, your customer for a referral, your customer for their network. Not just your network. That is important too. We're not talking about the day. I'm talking about you filling your pipeline with 40 leads per month, and you only have 4 people to work with. Did you get that? 40 leads per month. If you sell a 1 in 5 closing ratio, how many is that going to be? 40 leads. You sell 1 in 5. Add that to the showroom, the phone in, the e-leads that you're already going to get because of your dealership's location, because of your brand's identity. Remember, we're not turning our back on the showroom. Maybe your showroom is completely dry. Then you just have to put more emphasis into prospect harvesting. And in prospect harvesting, we're talking about those 3 leads that come out of that one individual, which now gives you 40 leads. But no, I'm not even going to stop there. Add to this the service department. If there isn't a lot of people walking in the showroom, if the phone isn't ringing off the hook, and if the email chime isn't dinging obnoxiously frequently, then wander off into the service department and get talking to the service advisors, get talking to the technicians, and get talking to customers. And it's as easy as this. In order for you to get a great lead from the service department, well, number one, go looking for customers who their salesperson has now retired or left the business. And that may not be last week or last month or last quarter or even last year. That could be years ago. And they just haven't been reassigned to another account. And you can do that quite easily by asking the service advisor, hey, who are your top 10 best customers that come in on a regular basis? And of that top 10 customers that come in on a regular basis, who should be driving a newer, shiny, faster, the latest and greatest technology with better fuel economy, protected by a warranty? Because I want to help them out. Now, don't be surprised if the service advisor is a little shy to help you replace an automobile that they can make a lot of money on. Look, a high tide raises all ships. What do customers want? Customers want newer, shiny, faster, latest and greatest technology, protected by a warranty. So as much as a service advisor may be a little shy, a little reserved, cautious about telling you about a client that they have that could effectively, significantly impact their income, then put them on your payroll. Give them a bird dog. Give them a referral fee. Give them an affiliate fee. Seriously, if you sell my program to somebody else, I pay you a referral fee, a very significant, handsome referral fee, because I know you won't do it for $100. It's going to be very, very lucrative for you. In fact, you may want to do it so much so that I'm enamored by you promoting this program to everybody as well. But you need to prove this program to yourself first. So you need to buy into it right away first before that happens. And this isn't about selling. I'm not pitching anything. Book a 15-minute discovery call with me. I'll tell you how the affiliate program works. I'll put a link down below for that. And then, of course, please share this with everybody. Share this with anyone that you think can benefit by doing better, because a high tide raises all ships. Even your colleagues that you think are competitors, if you feel like you're struggling, if you feel like you're competing with colleagues instead of feeling like you're a part of a team, if your colleagues are looking at you like, oh no, here you go again, you're going to waste another customer on us. If you don't believe every shopper is a buyer, then get the manifesto and don't hesitate to reach out to them and show them what you've invested in. But maybe you want to prove it to yourself. Maybe you want to prove it to them as well. Maybe you want to keep this as your little secret and not tell them about it. That's entirely up to you. But let's go back to the service advisor. Okay, really, that's what we're talking about. If they're worried about jeopardizing their income, then give them a referral fee for this individual to purchase another new vehicle. And here's what happens. That individual that is referred by the service advisor to you and they purchase a vehicle is going to say to themselves, my dealer is so fantastic. My service guy or gal is so terrific. Introduced me to this amazing salesperson that is so amazing. They're really thinking in my best. And I would never buy another product from another dealer ever in my entire life because these guys are so great. And then what happens? They tell two friends, who tell two friends, who tell two friends, who tell two friends. And this is how you sell 10, 20, and 30 vehicles per month with predictable consistency. And that is the secret. That's what will get you on track to earn a six-figure income. When you're selling with predictable consistency, when your pipeline is full, regardless of the time of the year, Q1, Q2, Q3, or Q4, and I'm talking about the quarters of the year. The quarters of the year are every 3 months as we go around the year. And that factors in the seasonality of our business as well. Remember, we sell the second greatest financial decision that individuals make next to buying a house. It's not made easily and it's not made in jest. So we need to be really on our game and really think about how we can help them make this decision, not force it down their throat. And that's the reason why, albeit I'm going to contradict myself, I don't teach closing and negotiation all the time. I do. If you go with the manifesto, step 5, step 6, step 5, closing aberration, the customer focus approach, which will get you closing at a 1-and-2 ratio as opposed to the traditional 1-and-5 or walk-ins at 1-and-8 and 1-and-10. And of course, mastering negotiation, overcoming those typical objections that customers may have. Again, my name is Bill Harvey with the Auto Sales Academy. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed this session today and you got a lot out of it. I hope you were making notes all the way along, and don't hesitate to reach out to me. Seriously, don't hesitate to reach out to me and book a discovery call. I'm happy to talk to you at length about this. 15-minute discovery call, that's all it is. 15 minutes could really change your life. And quite frankly, does anybody want to disagree with me on this? Go ahead and leave a comment below that you want to disagree with me, that this is not the best time of the year to be selling automobiles. This is the time of the year when you may be questioning whether this is the industry that you want to stay in, whether this is the career that you want to do. There's no reason for that. You can do this. You have to wake up every morning and you have to tell yourself, I can do this. And you have to set that objective for yourself of selling 10, 20, and 30 vehicles per month. But here's the challenge. Just setting the goal of 10, 20, and 30 is your problem. You need to have a plan to get there. And that's really what the manifesto is all about. I'd be happy to share all the details of the manifesto. Our one system of 3 phases, sales success, sales intelligence, and sales performance, will teach you through 9 simple steps how you can accomplish selling 10, 20, and into 30 vehicles per month. The testimonials are there. Feel free to go to my website and look at them. Feel free to scroll back in the feed here in the private members group and have a look at some of the testimonials. This is easily doable. And the only reason that you're not is that the teaching and training that you have received never address that. Look, there's 4 pillars of success in our business. Number 1, you need to know the activities that lead to the sale. And that includes meeting and greeting, and the walk-around presentation, the demonstration presentation, the trade appraisal. Then you've got to be able to close that deal. But you can't close that deal if you don't know how to negotiate. Those are the 3 most prominent pillars that every automobile trainer, speaker, author talks about. Here's the number 1. The number 1 skill that you got to have is a full pipeline of prospects all the time. Not just at one point of the year. And when you create the pipeline and harvest those prospects with a communication strategy that makes sense, leveraging our email templates and our sales funnels and the technology that goes along with that, and I'm talking about simple technology, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, Be Real, and YouTube, and leveraging Google for really understanding what customers are looking for so that your communications make sense, life gets so easy. And that can be all automated with Sendable, Buffer, Hootsuite, Meet Edgar, and so many other social media tools that keep you top of mind that I will talk about regularly as we go forward in this private members group. Again, if you want to know more about how to overcome the struggle and get on track to make a 6-figure income, book a call with me. 15 minutes could change your life. My name is Bill Harvey, the Auto Sales Academy. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you again real soon. Bye-bye for now.